Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now in this video, I'd just like to talk about my Peter Cushing Baron Frankenstein Blu-rays, of which I've got the whole. I've got the whole lot. Now, just a couple of words about Peter Cushing. For me, there was nobody could take Baron Frankenstein off like Peter Cushing. He was just the best, and that, you know, he was just fantastic in the role, and that, you know. But yeah. So anyway, without further ado, I'll just get into my collection. So the first one I've got is the Curse of Frankenstein. This was the one where Cushing's Baron Victor Frankenstein made his very first appearance, and what an appearance as well. I mean, this was one of the movies that really started Hammer, you know, in regards to you know, popularising the horror genre and that, with their gorgeous, lush photography, you know, and fantastic storylines and that. Now this is a great addition, this, of the Curse of Frankenstein. I'll just show you the there's quite a few special features on here, so I'll just hold it closer for you so you can have a look. You want to freeze your you know, your film, so you can have a look at the special features. So there you go, that's the Curse of Frankenstein. One of the best Frankensteins ever made, and that, you know, it really was. 1957 release and that, and Peter Cushing he does a fantastic job in this, and Christopher Lee plays the monster, and again he done a great job on that, you know, playing the monster. And Peter Cushing, he's quite ruthless in this. Now I won't tell you too much about it in case you haven't seen the movie, but this, I mean, after the success of the Universal Frankenstein series that starred Boris Karloff and Colin Clive, you know, when they ended around about 1948 with Abbott and Costello and Frankenstein, there was quite a few years like in between before Hammer exploded onto the scene, and how they exploded with this, the Curse of Frankenstein. As I say, it's Peter Cushing's first outing as the Baron, and I mean, I could sit here all afternoon uttering superlatives of how well Cushing plays the role and that, you know. So that is his very first appearance as Baron Victor Frankenstein, and that is Hammer's The Curse of Frankenstein. Next up is the direct sequel to The Curse of Frankenstein, and that is The Revenge of Frankenstein. Again, Peter Cushing does a tremendous job, you know, reprising his role as the Baron. And this Blu-ray is actually from the Indicator Hammer box set. You know, I've got all the Hammer movies, and this is the best I've ever seen, this movie. The transfer is fantastic. I'll just open it up to show you inside. So you get your booklets, and you get your Blu-ray. Fantastic booklets here, all about the Revenge of Frankenstein. Here he is, the late great Peter Cushing. There you go. Francis Matthews stars in this one as his assistant. So yeah, I mean, Cushing plays the part of Frankenstein that well. He plays it so consummately. Now you'd actually believe he is, you know, he is Baron Frankenstein, but because like he puts everything into the role. Well, he does in every role he plays in that, but especially you know, Baron Frankenstein. And this is a fantastic sequel to The Curse of Frankenstein. It really is. And this was made in 1958. So a year after The Curse of Frankenstein. That is The Revenge of Frankenstein. Third one is, this is a fantastic addition from Screen Factory, The Evil of Frankenstein. This breaks continuity from the first two Frankenstein movies, and it's sort of like, it seems to me to be a little bit of a reboot of the series and that, you know, because Peter Cushing isn't quite as wicked in this one. He isn't quite as as murderous as he was in The Curse of Frankenstein and that, you know. He's sort of like, it's sort of, as I say, it's sort of like a reboot of the Frankenstein story. And Kiwi Kingston, the Australian actor, he plays the monster. I know he's had this film's had a bit of criticism for the way the monster looks. You know, it looks like some described it as a paper mache, but I like it. You know, I when I first saw it as a kid in the late '60s, like, I was bowled over. But this edition from Screen Factory is a collector's edition. It's got the reversible slip arse, as you can see, and again in the Screen Factory edition, it's got a ton of extra features. I'll just hold it close to the camera so you can have a look at the special features. And yeah, there's so many moments in this movie I enjoy. I especially enjoy the supporting cast. You know, the hypnotist, you know, the evil hypnotist who Baron Frankenstein calls upon to sort of like revive the monster completely in that, you know, and he is a right B, he really is this, but I won't tell you too much about it in case you haven't, you know, you haven't seen the movie. And then you've got like the girl like who can't talk and that, you know, who Baron Frankenstein and his assistants encounter on the way back to, you know, back to his old lab and that, in his chateau and that, you know, and he brings her along. He find the monster frozen in ice, and he brings her along with him, you know, to sort of like help to revive the monster and that. But yeah, fantastic supporting cast again. Brilliant story from Hammer, and Peter Cushing is on the money again in this as Baron Victor Frankenstein. That is the Evil of Frankenstein, and this was made in 1964. Love the Scream Factory editions and that, you know. And I've got another equally marvellous Scream Factory one here as well, again starring Peter Cushing, and that is Frankenstein Created Woman. Again, an awesome movie from Hammer, and that this goes a little bit sort of like further. It goes off sort of like on a different sort of like level to the other Frankensteins, because in this Frankenstein movie it deals with the transfer of souls, you know, human souls into bodies and that, you know. For instance, a guy gets hung, you know, for a crime he didn't commit, and then consequently his spirit goes into I think it's his girlfriend's body and that, you know. So it's all to do with souls and that, you know, something different and that. And I like the way Cushing it makes his reappearance in this, because he's sort of like frozen. He's frozen in a fridge and that, and you pull him out the fridge and that, you know, and he sort of like revive him and that, you know. But fantastic job. Nobody can play Baron Victor von Frankenstein like the late great Peter Cushing, you know. A truly fantastic actor. And here's again, we've got the reversible slip art and that. I love this when you get your cover and then you've got your reversible, the option of the reversible slip art and that, you know. And again, there's some great special features on this one. You want to freeze your camera and have a deco at them. So yeah, and lovely lady in this as well, you know, plays the female role. Yeah, it's fantastic. Susan Denberg, the lady's name is, and she's absolutely gorgeous. You know, she's on a par with Veronica Carlson in terms of, you know, hammer beauty and that, you know. But love this one. Well, I love all the Peter Cushing Frankensteins, but this is a magnificent movie. You know, really good storyline and that, you know. And again, Peter Cushing isn't as bad in this one as he has been in previous outings as Baron Frankenstein, especially in Curse of Frankenstein, when he was really ruthless and really mean and that, you know. So that is Frankenstein Created Woman. Next one up. Now this is the movie where Cushing is really, really, really evil in the role of Baron Victor von Frankenstein, and is Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. Now, when I say he's a real badass, he is a real badass in this one. He's got no conscience whatsoever. You know, he blackmails a young couple, Veronica Carlson and is it Simon Ward, yeah, to sort of like help him with continue with his experiments and that, you know. But he's got no mercy at all. He's got no feelings. All he's obsessed with is his work and that, you know. And he's got no compunction about, you know, murder or anything and that, you know. Now this has got like a rather sad end, but I don't really want to go into too much in case you haven't seen it. But this has got a real sad end, and it really has. So that's Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. Unfortunately, there's no special features on this one, but maybe, hopefully, Scream Factory might do. They might do a release of this Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, because they seem to be doing all the Hammer movies lately and that, you know, the Draculas and that. So keep our fingers crossed, guys. But love Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, and as I say, alongside Curse of Frankenstein, this is the movie where Baron Frankenstein again is a real badass. He really is. So highly recommend Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. Peter Cushing again, fabulous in the role as the evil Baron. So that is Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, and that's from 1969. And the final Cushing Frankenstein movie is Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. Excuse me. Now this is actually it's just going on the verge of getting released by Scream Factory in a special edition. So I don't know if it'll have a slipcover, but I hope it will, because I will definitely get this one. But in the meantime, I've got this one anyway, and this has got quite a few special features as well, if you want to freeze your camera to have a deco at them. Yeah, so Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. This one sees the Baron take charge of a lunatic asylum under the guise of he has a different name in it and that, you know, but obviously he's really Baron Frankenstein and that, and he gets an assistant to help him and that, you know, played by Shane Bryans, who soon stumbles on the fact that, you know, this doctor is really Baron Victor Frankenstein, and Peter Cushing wears like a wig in this one and that, you know. I think it's the same wig he wore in And Now the Screaming Starts. I'm not too sure, but anyway, yeah. Again, Peter Cushing does a consummate job playing Baron Frankenstein and that, you know. And he seems to be a little bit more, what's the name in this one as well, you know, he seems to be a bit more you know, sort of like apathetic to an insane extent. But if you watch the movie, you'll know what I mean. I won't give it anything away about the end, but if you watch the ending and see how the Baron's behaviour at the end, you'll know what I mean. The monster's quite good in this one. Again, some people have criticised it for being, look, you know, the monster and that, but I thought it was quite good. You know, I love all the Hammer Frankenstein monsters. You know, it doesn't matter if it's Christopher Lee or David Prowse or, you know, any other. They're all great. They're all different in that, you know, in their own special way. And of course, the Frankenstein stories are just top class. I'll just show you the inside of this, guys. It's a combo. 3-disc edition. Great edition, this Frankenstein. This is one of my favourite Frankenstein movies, Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. You know, I like the setting and the asylum and that, you know, and all the patients and that, you know. But yeah, love Peter Cushing's Baron Frankenstein. So just to recap, The Curse of Frankenstein, The Revenge of Frankenstein, gorgeous, gorgeous Scream Factory, Evil of Frankenstein. Another great Scream Factory release, Frankenstein Created Woman. Basic Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, but nevertheless a fantastic, fantastic Frankenstein story. And last but by no means least, Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. So yeah, guys, that's me Peter Cushing Baron Frankenstein movies. I just wish he'd made more than that, you know. I really do, because he was just second to none playing Baron Victor Frankenstein, like as he was with Abraham Van Helsing in the Dracula movies. You know, he played him. He was on the money with them as well, and that, you know. But yeah, I'm really made up to have all these in my collection. I did have them on DVD, but it's great to have them all on Blu-ray. All the Baron Frankenstein, Peter Cushing movies, and that, you know. Yeah, I mean, as I say, like, you know, I could sit here all afternoon spouting superlatives of how brilliant Peter Cushing was, you know, playing Baron Frankenstein and that, you know. He put everything into the role and that, you know. And it was sort of like a two-sided thing, because on one side he was like an anti-hero. On one side he did have some good points about him. He wanted to succeed, like, you know, for the benefits of science and helping mankind and that. But then on the other side, he had a bit of a seed. He had a bit of a nefarious, you know, a evil side to him, because he wouldn't let anything get in his way. If he wanted to pursue another experiment, come what may, it didn't matter. You know, he wouldn't. If anybody was standing in his way in regards to his pursuit of creating the perfect man or advancing his experiments, you know, he was ruthless. I mean, he really was, and that, you know. And when he was ruthless, he could be really ruthless. And this really comes out in Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. But anyway, I won't tell you too much about that movie. I'll let you watch it for yourself. So yeah, guys, that's me, Peter Cushing Baron Frankenstein Hammer movies. So I hope you enjoyed this movie. And do you like Peter Cushing? Yeah, well, if you do, comment below. I'd love to hear your comments about the great man. You know, I think nearly everybody liked Peter Cushing. You know, they called him the Gentleman of Horror. And, you know, whether he's playing Baron Frankenstein, Van Helsing, other kinds of roles and that, you know, he always delivered. He always delivered flawlessly. Yeah, so as I say, if you enjoyed this video about Peter Cushing's Baron Frankenstein movies, please feel free to leave a comment. You know, share, subscribe. Yeah, I've really enjoyed talking about Peter Cushing's Baron Frankenstein's. They're in my top 5 all-time horror movies, the Cushing Frankenstein movies. Yeah, and as I say, I just wished he'd made more, like Christopher Lee with Dracula. I just wished he'd made more than that. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, that's it for now. And all going well. I shall see you in the next video.